For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you guys a bit of a review on a brand new product from Kampa Dometic. This here is the Rally Air Pro 240 T/G. T/G basically stands for tailgater, so it's designed to be a tailgate driveway awning, something that's has been in their motor rally range for a while, but more for the side of the van rather than the back of the van. So this can be used pretty much in terms of attachment, well, heights, for example, of from 220 to 275, so it's quite a range. Personally, I see this more as sort of like a tall line transit, or something where you want to put on the back wherever you've got a physical tail lift, alternatively kind of barn doors. The way this is designed, it can actually accommodate both of those, which is quite refreshing, unique, and especially gives you that extra option of not having, if your bedding's at the back and you want something to flow through it quite nicely, it works quite well. Especially in terms of the connection, it's got specially designed connection features to make it fit as best as possible, which I think, to be honest, is certainly a lot different to what you see in the market from elsewhere, from other manufacturers. But we'll go through the whole awning itself and talk about unique features as well as the spec of it throughout this video. Generally, Kampa have been doing these kind of awnings now for the best part of about 3 or 4 years, and they're probably, honestly, when it comes to these types, probably one of the #1 manufacturers sort of globally for it. You've got Kampa's Pro fabric, so it's a really nice, strong, rugged fabric, as they have in all of their caravan awnings and motorhome awning ranges as well. Really quite smart, and you just feel kind of the weight of the fabric they tend to use. You've got a single point inflation, so one point here will inflate the whole awning up as you go. And yet again, you've got 2 deflation valves beneath it, so it makes it very easy to get all the air out. So it's not only easy to pitch, but it's also easy to pack away. You can check out our own Attwoolls pitching videos. We've done one on kind of the side fitting driveway version, but in terms of your setup and pitching wise, it's not going to be an awful lot different. It's merely just a connection method that's going to change mass majority, but I'd still probably go about it in a very similar way. You've got side panels which can be completely removed or chopped and changed from one another. The ability of actually adding annexes onto either side if you wished as well, so there's lots of versatility there as well. You've got your webbing storm straps on the front, additional ones on the side, just to give some additional bracing. But you've got one big nice panel. I think that's one thing I do really like about it, is you've got, rather than making it sort of 2 small panels, it's one nice big open panel. And yet again, you've got the ability to create like a little veranda situated here. So with the sort of zip design, this door alternatively can be rolled all the way to the side and kept nice and neatly there, allowing you to flow all the way through into the van itself, which works quite well. Also, you've got that dual pitch roof, which gives you plenty of interior height, as well as brilliant sort of for draining the roof, draining the water away quite happily as well, especially pushing it out as it where it needs to. But what I'll do is we'll head on the inside, talk through a few more features, then we'll pick the camera up and do a little bit of a walkthrough showing you certain things that, like I said, really are quite different about this in comparison to other competitors. So let's have a look at what we got to find out. So now in tailgate, you can kind of get a bit more of a grasp of certainly the size you have in here, but also actually the sheer amount of height. I'm about 6'2", and I can stand right underneath that front panel quite happily. So when you're looking, with your doors open or open that way, it just sort of flows quite nicely into the van. And the back door can be sort of zipped and sort of rolled out the way completely. So the joys means that it continues one big open area. As I talked about on the outside, there's 2 side panels can be removed, which obviously helps reduce the weight down a little bit when you're packing it away. Alternatively, the flexibility of adding annexes to it. Because they can remove, they can actually interchange with one another as well. So you can reposition the front door, and rather than having the side door there, it can be positioned at the front. You've got also like windows with beautiful PVC windows to get great clarity, but you've also got the curtains as well. So again, the joys of this is you can get a good coverage through there, and if need be, a little retaining clip just at the back here, just to keep it all neat and tidy. But it's kind of taking the leaf out of the same with the other driveway models they do, with the 260, 330 and 390. Same kind of premise, just specifically designed for tailgaters. The front panel itself, like we've got in a veranda, there is a second zip located on the panel as well. So the joys of this means is you can actually have a mesh panel in that front section and still have that in. So it allows you to have a ventilation into the main part without having sort of the bugs and the critters coming in. The Velcro tabs positioned above the window allows obviously you to use the saber lights and to get a bit more light inside of here. You've got one located here and then one above me here as we've got on currently on the go. But overall, it's quite a smart model. I think for something that's a little bit different on the offering, especially for, this is more for, like I said, your sort of tall line coach builds on the back doors potentially. The carpet is specifically designed for this model. So you have to get this model, this one. The same with the roof liner. It's all designed. But I'll quickly put up the divisional door at the back section to show you. They've got a really nice long sort of, I want to call laces, not zip ties. But as you can see, the only thing I will say is obviously with the height of it, you want to make sure you're tall enough or use a ladder to go all the way around. But once you get the height there, you've got no problem guessing that point. And because you've got a small side section door and then a larger door, so you can actually choose whether to have the smaller section or larger section open. It's really up to yourself. So let's pick the camera up and have a little bit of a nose. So a few things that make this obviously different. Like I said, not only have you got the difference in terms of the door, you can see there it's different sided, but the airframe and the way it works is actually the beams come out a little bit further and you've got kind of like a frame system. So that way you've got a good amount of size gap from sort of down here across, which means that if you've got those sort of like barn doors, you can more than happily swing them open and it still incorporate into that. Now the sides actually can be altered sort of in and out, so it runs around about sort of 180, I think, to about 240 width. So it gives you a bit more flexibility on how wide your van it will fit. And yet again, you can probably see if I go around the outside here, you can see the difference there. And you've also got one nice big ventilation panel just located here, as well as straps to drive it away. Now there's a clever little pulley system to help you tension or get the height up to throw the straps over top. So those straps that are supplied there are very long, and if you want it, you can actually take it right over the top of the van and underneath the front bumper. But there's a little tension point located down like this, and it allows you to obviously adjust the height of how much room you got there. So, and that just, a little retaining clip just keeps it at bay, so that means you're not going to suddenly lose it or have to try and feed it up through. And that's why there's a special, you probably see a little special mesh part to the section just so it doesn't infringe the fabric and keeps it going. You've also got a special strap system designed here, so there's actually no cater on this actual bit. So unfortunately, if you wanted to, you couldn't use this into a conventional wide-out awning. You have to use it merely as sort of throw over straps. Basically because while having a cater on there, it fixates it and gives you less flexibility when you're trying to go round a round surface. So by removing that, it makes it more pliable, and yet again means the webbing strap located here, you can tension it and get better tension on it. Located just down the bottom here, we've got a big red clip. So what this basically does, it can clip onto the wheel arch, and it helps to really pull that fabric out and get that fitting really quite nicely. As we head round to the front of it, like I said, you can see a bit better about the side panels and how sort of nicely it sort of fits. But it's a really nice little unit, something a little bit different, which you can't really see elsewhere. And I think one feature I've neglected to mention is a little clip here for the inflatable windbreak. But I think overall, quite smart, something a bit different. And I think, yeah, it is probably a slightly smaller and more bespoke item, but I think there is certainly quite a number of vans that have sort of come into us wanting some rear fitting. I think this where it offers something a little bit different, and certainly one that we're going to stock in for the 2020 season. So we normally tend to display the Driveway 330 side fitting one, but we can always talk about this model and come to seek advice if need be from us. So, but I think a new exciting model, something that's certainly different, and I think, to be honest, it will be very well received going forward for the 2020 season. So that's kind of our Attwoolls Outdoors video review on the Kampa Dometic, basically Rally Air Pro 240 rear tailgater, so T/G.